Hello class, now we're going to add sound to our game. So we're going to have a bouncing sound when the ball hits a wall. We will have a boing sound when the ball hits the paddle. And we'll have a different sound to indicate that a miss happened if you didn't hit the ball with the paddle. The way Java works is that if I were to just put your sound handling code in my drawing area right here, every time I played a sound, the sound would play and you would hear it, but the ball would stop moving as long as the sound was playing. And that's not really the way we want to have it. We want to have it that the sound will happen and the ball will keep moving while the sound is playing. To do that, we have to use a concept called multi-threading, which basically means having multiple programs running at the same time. To do that in our game, we're going to create a separate class called the SoundPlayer. And you'll see it here in my navigator. The way I do that is I go to my default package and I right click on it and I say new, and I say I want a new Java class. And in this case, I called it SoundPlayer. I'm not going to recreate it because it already exists. So once I create that class, the class now shows up here. It shows up empty and I put in this code, and I'll give details of this in the tutorial. We have a library we need to use that reads and writes files so we can find the sound file itself. We have these audio input stream and audio system and clip libraries that have to do with the way that this Java library handles sounds. This code only works for WAV files. If you want to use MP3s, you'll either have to convert those MP3s to WAV files, or you'll have to find different libraries to use to handle MP3s. So in this class called SoundPlayer, we have one method called play, and it receives the file name of the sound we want to play. It creates a new thread. So every time it runs, it creates a new thread. So it creates a new occurrence of a program running, and it runs. And what it does is it tries to get the sound clip, open an audio stream for the file name, open that clip, and then play the clip. But we also have to pause this thread to let the clip play. So what we do is we find out how long the clip is by using this get microsecond length method, but that returns microseconds. Thread.sleep works in milliseconds, so we have to convert this value to milliseconds by dividing by 1,000. It will sleep as long as the sound plays, and then the method will end. It's a void method, so it returns nothing. So now in my drawing area, what I have to do is I will add a few variables here. So I have 3 strings that are the sound that are the file names of the sounds, and you can find the sounds in my project folder. So right at the root level, I've got my boing sound, and it's a .wav file, my bounce sound, and my miss sound. So back in my code, those are the file names of those sounds. Then I have to create what's called an instance of the sound player. So all I do is I say sound player, the sound is equal to a new sound player. So I'm creating a new sound player object. And now down in my paint component, here's where I detected a hit, and I added one to my hit counter. What I'll do is before I add that, I will say the sound.play hit sound. So this will call that sound player class and the method play, and it will pass in the name of the hit sound and play it. It will add on, and while it's playing, the program here will continue. It'll add one of the hits, it'll reverse the direction, and the paint component will continue. For a miss, it's the same thing. I play my miss sound and I add one I miss. Now, I also put a little thread.sleep down here of 700 milliseconds just to have things pause for a second, just so the player recognizes that there was a miss. And then the paint component resume. And then further down here, just when I've got regular bouncing, so when I have a change in direction, I play the bounce sound. Now, this used to have a condition for S right, but since the right side is now a miss, I took that condition out. I don't need to worry about that condition, because if I have a miss, the miss handles repositioning the ball for a new round. And then here, since I'm bouncing on the top and the bottom, every time my direction changes, I play the bounce sound. So let's see what it looks like. So now it bounces. So that's the last tutorial officially in how to build this game. But what I'd like you to do is now start thinking of ways that you can make it a more complete game. And it uses all the different things we've used in this program and in these tutorials, but you're going to have to add a few new features to make things work. So if we look at this so this is my final version. So it starts off, it shows me the hit and miss scores. It gives me a little message here saying press the space bar to play or pause. And over here I've added another option, which is the maximum number of misses. So I can vary the number of maximum misses that constitute a game. And I've got a slider for the maximum number of misses. I've got the this is a label that shows me the value of max misses. And you'll notice the game didn't start until I press play. Now I'm just going to set this to 5 so we can just see a short game. So I'm going to press spacebar. Now I'll start some misses. So the game is now over, and it asks me if I want to play again. I just need to move that down a bit. And if I hit the P, but it says press P to play again, if I hit P and hit the space bar, game will start again. And I've actually added a quit button as well. Okay, thank you very much.